All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Thoroughbred Underdog, and we finally have a name for these recordings that I do here. We're going to call it Dog's Day because it's only right? I'm the Thoroughbred Underdog, and every dog has their day, and Saturday is mine. So we finally got a name, folks, and this is for the week of May 11th to May 17th in wrestling. I'm just going to share my thoughts here with you on some of the things I viewed, I listened to, watched throughout the week in wrestling here. Not a whole lot. I just watched the highlights of Raw and SmackDown and AEW. And then there's that combined with some of the news and my thoughts on that and some of the things I may see on social media, your X's, your Instagrams, what have you. So, if you're watching this or if you're listening to this, you see that my thumbnail is of a picture that you never thought you would see. Yes, that is Farouk, Ron Simmons, and Ahmed Johnson. And the olive branch has been extended. Beef has been squashed. Water has been under a bridge. And Ahmed Johnson has an Instagram. He's only posted 38 photos, and he is on Instagram, and he made the best way he could. One of the biggest moves he could make was to patch things up with Ron Simmons, and it's prominently featured on his Instagram page. They were at a convention, and they squashed their beef. Their beef was long-standing, I believe. Farouk, he was really Farouk's side. He had the helmet and stuff on. I think he kicked Ahmed Johnson in a rib. I think he ruptured the spleen or something like that when he first debuted in WWF at the time. And then when Ahmed returned, he gave Ron Simmons a spine buster, kind of with his head and his ribs, as a receipt. For years, they had beef. They had trashed each other at interviews, and this is something that's good to see. It's always good to see people squash their beefs. Now, the thing is, can Ron Simmons do the same with the other members of the nation? Can you do it with D'Lo Brown? Can you do it with Mark Henry, who, more recently, in recent years, have continued to say bad things about him? It'd be good to see that. I know he's also had some things to say about Booker T, and Booker T said some things about him on his Hall of Fame podcast. I think not too long ago, maybe last year or something like that. So it'd be nice to see Ahmed get, things put back together. I mean, hell, he's even got a figure coming out, I think by Heels or Faces. Zombie Sailor is going to be making a figure of them. I think the same company is making one for Gangrel, the Patriot, and Raven. So they got a nice little lineup. And I love seeing I'm a big wrestling fan. You guys know this. But I collect the figures and stuff. And the more people we have making figures of wrestlers, the better, because everybody gets a figure. A lot of people don't have Legends deals with WWE. And we're probably never going to get certain figures of certain people if it was up to WWE. Hence why Ringside had to come out with their own line of figures and give us the Road Warriors, who I still need to buy. And they have their own line coming. And they debuted in a major way by giving us the Road Warriors. The thing is low-key you could tell they're made by Jazzwares. That Road Warrior animal torso looks just like one of the Rusev or the Miro torso figures, from AEW. But the more people making figures, the better. We getting a Raven figure, we getting Ahmed Johnson, who we never thought we would get a figure of since the bone crunching action days. They're giving us a Patriot. I think they're giving us the Rougeos as well. Some of those guys may not excite you, but Raven, Gangrel, Ahmed Johnson excite me, figure wise. I just want to see if they're gonna how well they're gonna scale with the Mattel figures, and hopefully they're not too big. Because I'm thinking Zombie Sailor, I'm actually confusing them with the company that's make the Ahmed Johnson and the Gangrel stuff. Zombie Sailor is the one that came out with the King Kong Bundy and the Brian Pillman and the Abdullah the Butcher. And those are kind of huge and kind of a little bit overly animated. Look a little bit too cartoonish in some proportions. But, you know, if you're smart, you make your figures to scale with the main goats, you know what I'm saying? AEW kind of did it right, but kind of didn't. Like so many of their figures, even for their own, figures, if you only collect their figures, are out of scale proportions. You know, John Moxley's as tall as Luchasaurus, Darby Allin's good, but then you got like a figure of Riho being the same size as him or taller than him, so scaling is the main thing I think of when it comes to these figures. But nonetheless, I digress. Ahmed Johnson is trying to, rectify some wrongs and make things right with people. And I hope he's doing well. It's good to see him on Instagram. It reminds me when Sid first got on Instagram and how engaging he was with fans. And I'll never delete the message of when I sent him like a message welcoming the master and ruler to the world to Instagram, and he gave me a fist bump emoji. I'll never delete that message. So rest in peace, Sid, and it's good to see Ahmed Johnson on social media. And he looked badass and was a very intimidating dude, and who knows? He might get a Legends deal with WWE someday. Maybe. As far as I remember, I think he was the first Black Intercontinental Champion as well. But nonetheless, commenting on other things that piqued my interest this week. Like I said, I'm not a news channel. I'm not a recap channel. I just comment and give you my thoroughbred thoughts on some of the things I viewed. So that to me was the biggest news because they had beef for years. But we also have some other things to talk about here, and that is little minor things. Wrestling game news. We have the DLC for 2K25 come out. The new wave packet featured the Motor City Machine Guns, Julia, Stephanie Vacquer, and a postponed celebrity. Now, if you follow 2K25 and you play it on PC, you'll see that people are just going crazy already with the mods for Julia, Stephanie Vacquer. I mean, they got fucking Julia's like J.I. Jane look when she was like bald from, when she was in Stardom. They got that. They've already like done like the face paint, half face paint, somewhat done the Roser look for Stephanie Vacquer. And they've got like mods with Julia with her new braids, which is also a thing a lot of people are, rambling about online. Cultural appropriation. Julia's got braids. She's stealing from. I'm a black man, and I don't look at it as cultural appropriation with that. You know what I mean? Julia, I didn't even look at it like that with Nikita Lyons. You know what I mean? It's a hairstyle. And me as a black man, I don't think too many white folks trip when we have mohawks, and Native Americans trip when we have mohawks and stuff like that. It's just a hairstyle. It's not like Julia's going out there twerking and coming out to trap music and saying, like she's Bianca Belair or fucking Jada Parker or something like that. It's just braids. And by all accounts, Julia is not a racist. She's not disliked in the community. She has no controversies or scandals to her name. You know what I mean? So if you want people tripping on her over braids, come on. You know what I'm saying? But that's the look she had when she was in Stardom and when she was really kicking ass over there. So people are already modding in like, most current recent attires and looks, because in the console games you can't do any of that. So this is why another point why PC is just better than the consoles. You know what I mean? But supposedly the celebrity character was supposed to be KSI, and this to me is kind of like the opposite of what the Pat McAfee pack was. Like, Pat McAfee last year had the DLC for 2K24, and it was like Pat was the only one you cared about, and then he had his co-hosts. And it's like, really, we only want Pat. Some didn't even want Pat, but Pat should have been in the game by default. But, in order to get Pat, we had to pay for all his co-hosts and shit, too, that we didn't care about. Whereas this one's like, okay, we get one celebrity we probably don't even care about, but on the flip, we're getting the Motor City Machine Guns and Julia and Stephanie Vacquer, all four pretty fucking good wrestlers. I mean, the Motor City Machine Guns, yeah, they probably should have been in WWE about 10, 15 years ago, but still, that's cool to have them in the game. And the modders are going to go up in there and probably mod Chris Sabin to look like he did in early X Division days. So is Alex Shelley. They'll probably give you Alex Shelley back when he was with Kevin Nash with the camera and stuff like that. And just those guys are just awesome to play with. I mean, most of the new moves are some of their tag team moves. And they're lengthy, but they're cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, people would have killed to see the Motor City Machine Guns in WWE 10, 15 years ago, but some long-time fans are even happy they're in now. And if you really think about it, that's how many TNA stars we're getting in this DLC. If you really think about it, that's 3 TNA stars. Because we're getting Abyss as well later in the year. Like, this DLC was... The DLC for this game was just full of surprises. Like, we're getting Abyss, New Jack, Motor City Machine Guns, Penta. But the celebrity is who got postponed. And truthfully, I don't really care for the celebrities. I mean, we got a whole NBA pack coming out, and I feel like that's their way of... Like, they still give us a new move pack just in the form of characters we don't care for. Like, they did it with the Pat McAfee pack. And that pack, we got, like, a bunch of, like, Speedball Mike Bailey moves, but it came in the form of Pat McAfee's friends having them. You know what I mean? So, it's that's how they go about it. So I think the NBA pack is going to have a lot of new moves. Just the only way you're going to get them is if you pay for these NBA superstars you don't care about. You know what I mean? Like, I don't watch basketball. I don't know who Tyrese Halliburton is. And then when it comes to celebrities, I feel like this. I get it. It's 2K. They want to have, like, I don't think if you put any of the wrestlers in NBA 2K games, the people who play those games will even care. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you're going to put celebrity in the game, I feel like it should be people that are involved in, physical contact sports. You know what I mean? Like, if it was Mike Tyson or if it was like Muhammad Ali in last year's game, I'm cool with it. I'm not even too keen on the rappers being put in the game. Like Post Malone, Fred Durst, and when we had SmackDown Just Bring It, we've had MGK in the game. At least Bad Bunny actually wrestled and worked matches. How about put somebody in that's actually, I don't know. I mean, maybe that's a part of the deal. Like, I know with Fred Durst, the thing is, hey, I'll let you put Roland in a game, but I want to be in a game as, it's a bargaining chip. And maybe that's what, like, Post Malone and MGK did. Like, hey, I'll let you put my songs in the game, but I want to be a playable character. And, low-key, some of the people that mod the game may even pull those models up, put them in the game so you can play with them and have, like, your own, I don't know, Fight for New York or Def Jam, quasi Def Jam faction in the game. But I'm like, if you're going to put rappers in the game, why not put in Snoop Dogg? You know what I'm saying? Can't cost that much to have him put in the game. Why not Jelly Roll or someone like that? People that have actually had appearances, and in Snoop Dogg's case, actually had an impromptu match at your biggest event of the year. So those are the celebrities I like to see. But like KSI and I Show Speed and stuff like that, I get it. You're trying to appeal to the current generation. But current generation go play the games even whether those people are in or not, So some people might be listening to this and sound like an old head, but nobody's really. This ain't Fortnite, you know what I mean? Like, nobody's coming to WWE 2K25 to play with KSI or I Show Speed unless you need jobbers. You just want to reenact that Spear segment with Brian Breaker basically running through I Show Speed like Goldberg did to Nunzio in that Royal Rumble that one year in 2004. But yeah, that's what's up with the DLC. A lot of new stuff came into the game from the DLC. We got Undertaker's Urn. We got a Cody Rhodes entrance where they're actually singing his song, which could be a sign of things to come. We might get that for, AJ Styles. You might get that with, Sami Zayn if we haven't already. I haven't noticed. Randy Orton, Jey Uso, Seth. So, I think Cody was the one. Well, it might have been Rey Mysterio was the one who started the whole figure character in the game thing. Was it Rey? Was Rey the first one to have the action figure model in the game? Because that kind of started what we have now. Now we have like action figures of Roman in the game, Seth, Rock, freaking Trish Stratus, Rhea Ripley, what have you. I wonder if they're going to do Cody that same way. Like, he's going to open a door for us having, like, the entrances of people with their music being sung by the crowd. I thought that was pretty cool. Of course, we got a new Fraxium entrance. But speaking about 2K25 just got me excited for 2K26. Like, the game's already antiquated to me because of how many cool additions to the roster we've gotten since the game's come out even 2 months ago. We've gotten Zarya, we got Rey Fenix, Aleister Black is back, Miro's back. We've had tons of releases. We got Jeff Cobb back, who I'm going to get to later. He's not back, but he's in WWE. Just the roster for 2K26 is going to be insane. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be crazy. It's just crazy. I'm surprised Zarya didn't get put in. They put Julia and Stephanie Vacquer in. They all got signed around the same time, but we couldn't get Zarya in. So, she'll be in the next year's game. She's basically like a female. She's like Beth Phoenix to mix with Brock Lesnar and Goldberg, moveset-wise and look-wise. To me, she looks like a bigger version, stronger version of Beth Phoenix mixed with Alexa Bliss, if you really look at her. But it would have been nice to have her in this year's game. And we did get a decent amount of, people who just debuted in the game not long after the game, was made, put in the game. Like Stephanie Vacquer and Julian Penta were late additions, but cool, But, man, just the roster for next year's game is going to be stacked. I personally can't wait to see what they do with this Abyss New Jack DLC. And I'm very curious to see if they'll get Natural Born Killers, if it'll be the dirty version, and if it'll play throughout the entire match for New Jack. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear New Jack's song. You know what I mean? But if not, I can always use Sound Editor and, import my own WEM files of, the songs I want in the game. So that's my curiosity. We got more DLC coming throughout the year. And I'm just basically trying to assemble my custom divisions and stuff like that in the game. But the next thing I want to talk about is Jeff Cobb, who is now formerly known as Jeff Cobb, because they really want to keep up with the Samoan surnames. And Jeff Cobb doesn't sound Samoan. It doesn't sound Tongan. It doesn't sound like any of the names somebody from the Eastern Islands would have, right? So his new name in WWE is J.C. Mateo. And when I hear Mateo, I just think of Mr. Mateo from that movie with the girl who played Taina. It had her and Michael J. Fox up in it. I cannot think of the name of it. But when I hear Mateo, I just think of that. Or isn't like Nikki Bella's son Mateo? Nikki Bella and her, I guess now ex-husband Artem, isn't her son's name Mateo? And he's like charged her a shitload of money for child support. The whole situation is just messy. I just hope the kids are right. But Mateo, JC Mateo, as we know, JC is for Jeff Cobb. I'm not sure. We will probably get a Jeff Cobb interview with him and Chris Van Vliet, explaining why that name was chosen, if he had any say in it. Because like I said in previous, videos, I love just hearing the origins of some of these names and how people came up with them. But yeah, he debuted on SmackDown, defeated LA Knight. I guess he's in a situation where they haven't, come up with the gear for him with that name on it yet. So he wrestled like in a black t-shirt and slacks. Kind of reminded me of like late WCW Chronic when they were wrestling, and kind of like the Hardy Boys shirts and the black jeans. But he won. He won with the Tour of the Islands. I don't even know if they called it the Tour of the Islands on, because I didn't watch the actual match. I just saw like he defeated him with it. And then we had Solo Sikoa in a Money in the Bank qualifying match against Rey Fenix, which not too keen on Rey Fenix losing so many matches and he just debuted. And it would have been nice to have him in that match, but maybe they're trying to give him a little bit more still acclimated to the WWE style before they put him in such a big match. Shit, I don't know. I mean, Ricochet had his first match in NXT in a ladder match. So that was one of the best ladder matches in recent WWE history. So some people just adapt quicker, I think, and, you want to get people used to this particular style. That's probably why they didn't put him up in there. I'm not sure. I don't, but Solo Sikoa is like telling Jacob Fatu, I love you, Jacob. And he was doing like Jacob's little taunt that looks like the boogeyman, shuffle. And it's hilarious. Solo's personality is starting to come out a lot more. And I just know for a fact that those years when he was in the Bloodline, that personality was just dying to come out. I mean, he's an Uso. You know what I'm saying? The Usos, they can be serious, as exhibited by their 2016-17 heel run on SmackDown. But they can also be very silly and goofy. And, Solo is their brother. And there are, let's be honest, comedy runs in the Samoan bloodline. Those guys know how to do comedy. Roman's had his funny moments. I'm not talking about big dog days, Roman. I'm talking about even with the bloodline. Usos could be really silly and goofy sometimes in their promos. When they was baby faces after they, got rid of the face paint, it was kind of silly and goofy. We all remember the rap battle with them in the New Day. in the rap battle with him and John Cena. Rikishi, come on, is Solo's dad. Hell, even if you see the video with like Haku laughing his ass off for seeing the Shockmaster footage for the first time, we know that those guys got some comedic chops. So starting to see Solo, like, even when he had the tickets, I got tickets, you know, where we know that there's personality up in there. So I think it's going to be hella funny when we see, you know, Giga Fatu show his funny side. Because he's just a badass right now. He's just got the Samoan Gangster Party in 2025 thing. He's got the one-man gang, Samoan Gangster Party shit going on. And I don't mean one-man gang. Like, I mean, the guy literally is a one-man gang. He could probably take out an entire squad by himself. I mean, fuck. The dude is a believable badass. And you need people like that in the game too. You need a little bit of everything in wrestling. You know, you need your comedy characters, you need your jobbers, you need your enhancement talents, you need your, you know, your talents that's inspirational, i.e. like a Miles Bourne. I think I told a joke about him on Instagram earlier. Somebody was saying that he's a Timu Randy Orton. I'm like, yeah, he's a Timu Randy Orton who could only partially hear the voices in his head. And some people might see that and think, how rude. You know what I mean? You're a dick. You're making fun of somebody with disabilities. No, Miles Bourne would laugh at that because, as you can see, if you follow Miles Bourne on like social media, on X or anything like that, the guy just makes the most of his disability. He has levity about it. And he jokes about it. And that, he was even, when he does have his promos on NXT, he even, like, jokes about it. So, and that's what gets you over. You know, when you take something like that, that is really something that could just, you know, really disable you. It's a disability. But you use it to add to your ability to get over. That's saying something. That's admirable. That's something that people could get behind. Like, he's not down in the dumps about it. He takes chicken shit and turns it into chicken salad with him being partially deaf. He embraces it. So he's naturally going to get over it. And also, word on the street is that he's dating Stephanie Vacquer. So pictures of, you know, showing up with him and Stephanie at some gathering, you know, hugged up and what have you. And there are a lot of people jealous right now. A lot of people who thought Stephanie was their wife, pretty mad right now that she's with Miles Bourne. I mean, the guy's getting a championship shot, and he's got Stephanie. If he was to lose the championship match, he's still a winner if he's got Stephanie. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's one of the she got aura. And she's one of the hottest women in wrestling right now, literally from a momentum standpoint and physically. People love Stephanie Vacquer. There were a lot of people that couldn't wait for her to come out in 2K25. There are a lot of people who probably, that's the only DLC they're going to buy for 2K25. Let's be honest, you know. So, I mean, she's just got it all. She's got it all. She could work. She could do lucha. She could do submission. She could do hard hitting. She could do technical. She could do brawling. And just that character, that look, that presentation, and just how, you know, down to earth and just buoyant she is in her interviews. Like, if you want an example of it, go see. I'll post it in the links. Go see her video with, you know, her interview with Bubba Ray Dudley on Busted Open. She's just so, you know, bubbly and happy and cheerful. And people like that. People like to see people happy. And when you're a happy person, you know, you just come across as just so bubbly and just so sanguine. People like that. People want to get behind that. People want to feel like you're the type of person that if they came to see you at an interview, at a signing, you present yourself with a smile and make them smile with your infectious smile and just be happy to see them. we as wrestling fans love that. You know what I mean? We love seeing our heroes, our entertainers, our favorite wrestlers be really cool looking people. You know what I'm saying? Like, it almost makes you forget who they are. Like, these are superstars. These are, people we lionize, people who are celebrities. And when you meet them in person, it's just so down to earth and cool. That's how Sasha was with me. And I can't wait to do these videos talking about the experiences I had with the wrestlers I met in person. Tommy Dreamer was a really good one for me. Sasha Banks, Kevin Nash was really cool. But Sasha especially, because she gets such a bad rap for how she treats her fans, and she wasn't like that to me at all. My only thing is I want to remember, because she said something to me in closing. And I don't remember exactly what she said. I'll have to go back and see if I, have the audio of it, or maybe I wrote about it on my journal entries. But I met her and AJ Lee the same day, and they were both really, really nice women. So just when you give the right impression, when you just are yourself in wrestling and you just come across as a genuine human being, that makes fans love you more. Some fans overdo it, but the real fans is like, will be inspired. That probably make you want to be a wrestler. That make them want to see you go somewhere high in the company. It make them want to see nothing but the best for you, even on a human level. So if Miles Bourne and Stephanie Vacquer are dating, congrats. You know what I'm saying? Congrats to them. Because Miles Bourne is, you could tell by just the fact that he jokes about something that he was, born with, that was, for anybody else, would have been literally debilitating, disabling. He takes it and he makes the most of it and even jokes about it. He laughs at it. People like that, you want to see win, because it's like, I'm that type of person. I'm the type of person that could take a situation that's normally meant to be daunting, fear and stealing, supposed to make me forlorn, sad, what have you, and I laugh about it. I try to find a way to bring levity to a situation. You know what I'm saying? I've been hit by cars. I've been jumped. And, I think one time I was in high school and a guy checked my pockets after high school. I was like, well, damn it. In my mind, I'm like, at least play fucking Annie Up by MOP when you do this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the type of shit that happened to me on Southside Chicago going to high school. I went to Hirsch. But, even a situation like that, I love people who can find humor and just try to not be, just fight whatever they're going through with humor. Or you can't do it with everything. I get it. But people like that were just like, man, this shit's meant to put me down, make me sad and mad and angry. But I'm not going to let it, and this is how I'm going to combat it. I love people like that. I love people like that. So enough about Stephanie and Miles Bourne. I wish them the best if they're a couple. And, they're a cute couple. You know what I mean? Like, Miles Bourne is basically Randy Orton. And Stephanie is Stephanie. So, but yeah, I wanted to share that. I also want to share, speaking of Stephanie, a little link to another little Instagram video. There's this link to a little video. I think Triple H is talking to some of the producers of the show about the show for the evening. And it's an empty arena, right? And then Triple H is talking to one of the producer ladies, and all you hear is like somebody say, "Hey, Triple H!" It's Undertaker and Stephanie. And Stephanie's got like one of like Undertaker's robes that make it look like he's like Batman, kind of like what Damian Priest came out with, kind of like with what Edge came out with at one time. Looks like wings. And Triple H is looking like irritated, like what's going on with security? Who let fans in here? And then Stephanie is just like, I'm going to get you and all this stuff. And he just goes, oh, it's Steph. And then everybody just starts laughing around him. He starts cracking up laughing. I just love the like Vegeta and Bulma dynamic between Triple H and Stephanie, where it's like Stephanie is like so playful and girly around Triple H, and Triple H is just so serious and I'm always tough, you know what I mean? I mean, there was even elements of that back with their run with the McMahon-Hemsley era on screen in an Attitude era back in the day. Like there was this one, I seen it on Wrestling Bios, who once again you guys should subscribe to if you saw my new shorts, putting others over. Wrestling Bios did like a review of Raw, and there was one Raw where Stephanie got a bunch of flowers and Triple H started throwing them and getting mad about them and whatnot. She's like, no, those were actually for you. And then Triple H looks like a dumbass. But even like on screen, all their shit was hilarious. You know, the wedding angle, the feud with Kurt Angle, love triangle thing, Triple H giving her a pedigree. The only thing I didn't like was them inserting a dog in the angle. Like, I don't like any hints or allusions that animals have been hurt. I don't like that. But, you know, other than that, this little short was hilarious because Stephanie is just, she gets real playful and, you know, girly around Triple H, and Triple H is so straight-laced and serious. If there was ever a couple in WWE that I would like to see have their own reality show, it would be them, and then it would be Jimmy Uso and Naomi. I think that would be a good one. Montez Ford and Bianca Belair are supposed to have one, but I haven't seen one episode of it. I don't hear a lot about it. I forgot it even existed. But very athletic couple there. Their kid is going to be a freak athlete. Because they are both physical fucking specimens. With crazy strength and athleticism. The future is scary when it comes to the athleticism of some of these future WWE superstars. You got Randy Orton's kids want to be wrestlers. You got Scott Steiner's son about to, you know, in football right now, probably going to join Brian in the next 3 to 5 years. You got Brock Lesnar's daughter doing her thing. She's not a wrestler. She's like one of those putt check people or whatnot, where they throw like the things. And she just won her 4th consecutive one. She's a freak athlete. I was saying to Myra Lesnar before my recording got interrupted by an alarm that I'll probably will press snooze on anyway. But, you know, I think her name is Myra Lesnar. And, you know, she's doing her thing. She comes to WWE, is going to be a wrap. It's just so much athleticism coming to WWE in the next several years. I mean, we got so many more members of the bloodline that are going to probably join the WWE. So if you think NWO lasted forever, the bloodline is truly going to last forever. Like, that is a huge family full of badass motherfuckers. So you got that going on. But it's scary out here, man. The future is just, it's insane, dude. And even Dominic Mysterio is only like in his early 20s, you know, 25, 24 years old, or what have you. Shit. So the future in WWE is crazy. And here my ass is, I'm 34. I want to go and get trained at Booker T's wrestling school. I want to be a wrestler. And I don't know if I'm going to want to be one until I get slammed on the mat. Wondering how I'm going to keep up with any of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like Nas listened to Big L. I'm supposed to be able to compete with this? This is what I got to compete with? Yeah. I'll be a manager. Let me be a referee. But anyway, that's about that. Yeah, JC Mateo. The next thing is AEW. If you've been following me, I've been just tuning in. Like I said, I tune in for Death Riders, Harley Cameron, Megan Bang, Mercedes, Osprey, Omega, and MJF and the Hurt Business, the Hurt Syndicate. MJF finally got the thumbs up from Bobby Lashley. That's all you need to know. Finally got it. So, the Hurt Syndicate is the Nation of Domination, and they finally have their Owen Hart. That's all you need to see. I'm going to link it. That's awesome. I'm happy about it. Can't wait to see where it goes next. But, they got this weird tag team going on with Harley Cameron and Anna Jay. And AEW is so spastic with their booking. I mean, like, they're just, sporadic. I'm sorry. They're booking so all over the place. Like, what happened to Harley Cameron being with Mercedes Moné? I want to see that go somewhere. And I love looking at Anna Jay. I can't really say she's much in the ring. And I love even more Anna Jay's, fat ass. She knows she has a fat ass, so I'm not degrading her. And that's their whole gimmick, is that Harley plays with her ass. But I wanted to see where it was going to go with Mercedes Moné and Harley. I wanted that to be a real tag team. But it's Harley Cameron. Anything she's in, I enjoy. She is just incredible, hilarious. Speaking of hilarious, we got R-Truth is actually going to face John Cena at Saturday night's main event. He's still in denial about what Cena did. He still thinks John Cena is his hero, just babyface version of John Cena. I don't know if we're ever going to see another serious R-Truth in WWE. I think that's just not going to ever happen. And I certainly don't subscribe to this belief that R-Truth is going to be the one that beats Cena in his last match for the championship. Just don't see that. That'd be nice. That'd be cool. But I just can't see that. I've heard people say that. I'm like, nah, that's probably not going to happen. Cena's last match really should have been against Randy Orton. But that was only his first match after winning the championship. And we know for a fact it's not going to be CM Punk. We'll probably get that for SummerSlam, which will be really cool. If not SummerSlam, why not Money in the Bank? Run it back, you know what I'm saying? But we got Punk going against this new Dangerous Alliance, so that probably won't happen either. As long as we get Punk versus Cena, that's what's important to me. That match has to happen. I'm completely okay with Cena's last matches being against maybe a few new faces, but mostly people that, impacted his first run. I only wish Edge was there to have his, last match with Cena. Not his last match, but, his last match with Cena. Not his personal last match. Would have been nice to revisit that, especially with Edge being a babyface and Cena being a heel. Would have been a cool dynamic, just like Orton versus Cena was. And we didn't even get enough of that. Like, we did not get enough of Cena versus Orton on TV, or it was just like 2 weeks worth of build. Maybe one or two with just them promoing. Actually, it was a promo with just Cena, it was a promo with just Orton, and it was a promo with them together. We didn't get enough of it. But, that's how I feel about that. Last thing I got, there was a botch on SmackDown. I'm going to post a link of. Nia went against Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany beat her. But there was a spot where Nia was going to try to use a chair. And Tiffany drop kicked the chair in her face. Nia didn't have the chair close enough to her face where it wouldn't be as much impact. So she had it stretched out too much, and then it was almost like she got hit with a chair by Tiffany with her own strength instead of Nia hitting herself with a chair. Started bleeding profusely in the match. got color. It's pretty gnarly cut. It wasn't the worst cut in the world, but you're not used to seeing that. You're not used to seeing chair shots to the head at all in WWE, let alone people get bladed from a chair shot hard way on WWE TV. So, and the thing is about Nia, man, since she's come back, she has been the most improved she's ever been. You know, she hasn't really hurt anybody since she's been back. She's actually had a few moments where she didn't do moves than more than she's actually hurt people. Like, there's been a few times where she's done that bonsai drop and it looked like it barely touched them. Or like when she did her chair shots, and I think it was it Elimination Chamber? She had a match and she was using a chair and she barely hit anybody. You know what I mean? So she's really been trying to be careful, but she's definitely improved a great deal. She's lost a lot of weight. She's had better matches. She's been presented better. But we got to give Nia her props. When we could hate on people, we have to be, you know, as loud as we are in our animate versions, we have to be as loud when people actually fix those things that we're critical of them of. So Nia has gotten better, but that was kind of a crazy little spot on SmackDown. Other than that, Cross fought Tyler Bate on main event. Not too sure about how I feel like Cross being on main event. Yeah, especially when he just did a video saying like, hey, I was able to talk to WWE brass and they're going to be selling my shirts and, you know, actual venues and whatnot. I'm loving the new thing of WWE capitalizing on people's momentum while they have it. We're long gone from the days of Rusev Day where people got punished or not pushed for getting over organically. You know, quote unquote, outshining the master. I want to see them do the same thing with Cross. I've liked Cross since TNA. You know, I love the look. I love the character. I love his doing his shit on his own videos, his own promos, the believability, the entrance, everything, right? So hopefully they do the same thing they did with Jey Uso. They capitalize on his momentum. It doesn't get any higher than where he's at. He's a champion. And he's supposed to be defending the championship against Gunther, I think on Raw. Rematch. I wonder how they're going to finagle that match because I just don't see Gunther losing clean again to Jey. So somebody's going to interfere. But, you know, I want to see Cross get over and be presented on Raw. I don't know what they're doing or what happened with him feuding with AJ Styles. But, yeah, I want to see Cross get pushed. And now's the time to do it because he's actually starting to get those reactions. His shirts are selling. We need a new Cross figure. We haven't had one since he's come back to the main roster of him. Only thing we've gotten for him is the 2 NXT figures. He hasn't had a figure of him since he came to the main roster, unless you count the AEW one, which honestly kind of trumps the 2 WWE NXT ones we got. But I'm glad Cross is finally getting over and getting his flowers. The only thing I ask of him, please give us the audiobook of your book, the audiobook version. I'm not a read and write type person. I'm a listener. So those are my thoroughbred thoughts of things that occur throughout the week. If I missed anything, I'm sorry. I need to get better about actually watching my wrestling. But like I said, I'll provide you links. I'll do the Stephanie Vacquer Bust Open interview. I want you guys to see how buoyant she was throughout that. I want you to see the Stephanie and Triple H clip. I want you to see the Nia botch. And, yeah, that's about it. So, I hope that you liked it. My little new recording here, the Dog's Day. But if you didn't like it, hell, if you hate it, fine. But you gotta learn to live with it.